The wood ant. You form part of a large, tight-knit community. How many others do you share your colony with?
Well, that depends. Sometimes it can be loads. I think the biggest we've ever been is about 100,000. I think at the moment there's about 40,000 of us living all in this big mound.
And do you get on quite well, or are there fights?
Well, I kind of keep myself to myself, to be honest. It's mostly my sisters that do all the work, so they seem to get on well enough. They do fall out a little bit sometimes over who wants to do what, but yeah, mostly they seem to get along.
And there are far less of you males than there are females. Why is that?
Well, it's a sad thing to say, but it's because we don't actually really do anything. Our only job is to go out and mate with some queens, and that's kind of it, really. We just sit here in the nest until we're ready to do that, until the weather's nice and we can go out and fly and find them. But yeah, there's not too many of us because we don't really do that much.
So you can fly?
Yeah, that's one thing I hold over most of these sisters. The only ones that got wings are me, the males, and the females that go out and become new queens. So we are royalty, even though we're not treated like it most of the time.
You're known to be extremely strong. What's the heaviest or biggest thing you've ever carried?
Probably myself. I'll be honest, I don't really carry much. I just sit around. I don't have to do too much. I see some of the things my sisters carry, though, and it's pretty impressive. Some of them are carrying great big logs around, it looks like, making a new mound, and they're always carrying all the larvae about. But yeah, for me, really, I just carry my own sense of sort of importance when it comes to mating. But apart from that, I do very, very little.
So how many queens are there in your colony?
At the moment, there's 2 or 3 queens in here doing their queenly work. And if you look around as well, you'll see there's a few young queens that are ready to go out and mate with males. Not with me, they'll go and find males from other colonies. But yeah, come the winter, when they all go underground, there'll be only 1 or 2 queens in there.
So how do you know if you're going to be chosen by the queen?
Well, I don't know, to be quite honest with you. When the weather's right, my sisters have told me that they're going to be pushing me out of the colony, and I better go and do what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to go out and find some queens, and I guess I'll just have to work it out when I'm out there.
Do you know what happens to you after you've mated with the queen?
No one really wants to talk about that, which I find a little bit worrying, if I'm honest.
So what do you think of the female worker ants?
Oh, they're amazing. They feed me. They look after me. They do harass me a little bit and push me around a bit sometimes, but that's largely because I'm in the way. But no, they do an amazing job. They're building all these mounds. They're looking after all the young, and these larvae take a huge amount of feeding. They're out all hours. They're out all weathers sometimes too, milking aphids, collecting wasps and dead things and all sorts of stuff. I'm in awe of them, frankly.
So do you not contribute anything to the upkeep of your colony?
Day to day, no. However, my role is a little bit more, I like to think, a little bit grander than that, in that I will be contributing to the next colony.
Do you ever sleep?
I do sleep, yeah. I mean, I don't deserve sleep half the time, let's be honest. I'm not exactly doing a lot, but we don't close our eyes, of course. As you can see, there's no eyelids for me to close, and our little brains turn off every so often, but most of the time I'm just kind of standing around waiting. I don't need a lot of rest.
Who are your predators?
We have had a few. We've got a badger that came along and had a little dig, but they all ran out and started spraying that horrible acid that they've all got into its eyes, and it kind of had second thoughts. But no, generally speaking, most things leave us alone. We're pretty well defended thanks to all the sisters.
You do have lovely big eyes, but you don't seem to have any ears. So how do you hear?
Well, hearing's a little bit different for us small creatures. Having big sort of fleshy things on the side of our head isn't really an option. And also, we have to be able to feel very tiny sounds. So actually, these antennae that I've got coming out of my head are very good at picking up tiny vibrations, and I can feel a lot through my feet as well. So it doesn't sound like it to you big folk, but it's actually very noisy down here in the soil.
Would we miss you as a species if you were gone?
Of course you would. I don't know if you've noticed how much we're doing down here in the soil. People tend to ignore what we're doing, but without us, the soil would be all compacted and awful. There wouldn't be any nutrition. Look at all the stuff that we bring down from up there in the woods down into the soil, getting air tunnels into it. Without us, all of that soil would become much less fertile. So your food absolutely relies on us being here, turning all this soil over.
Some people might be a bit scared of you. Do you bite?
We can bite, but we don't want to. Most of the time, we just want to keep ourselves to ourselves. So there's no real reason for anyone to be scared of us. But equally, you know what? Don't go poking us with a stick or sticking your hands in, because we're just going to defend ourselves.
What gets you excited?
Every morning, I get up waiting for that weather to clear. Apparently, the best time for me to go is about mid-afternoon. So that's the time when things get really exciting. So far, every day a disappointment, but my time will come.
This is to find your queen.
Absolutely. Maybe more than one, I'm told.
If you had a message for us, what would it be?
Look down. Yeah, we're down there in the soil, and we're doing a lot of things that you lot seem to miss, or at least don't notice, but you certainly will miss it if we're not there. So look down and think small. Not everything that's big is important, and not everything that's important is big. There's an awful lot of small things down here that you lot are missing, and you'll really miss us if we're gone.